Okay, so you
Can
get
you,
to be last but not least.
yeah,
Take
can
us
you
home
see
today.
my screen?
Yep. Just start the presenter view.
Oh, yeah. Mm, yes.
Okay, perfect.
First of all, thanks to Kelly for organizing this great seminar series, and thanks for the opportunities to the trainees. I'm Shailaja Hegde. I'm a postdoctoral fellow in Dr. Kansali's lab, and today I would like to talk about Rho targeting suppresses cold-induced platelet lesion and allows refrigerated storage lesion of functional human platelets for up to 14 days. This research particularly is in collaboration in between two great mentors, Dr. Kansales and Dr. Jung from Cincinnati Children's Hospital. The use of platelet transfusion in hematology and oncology and trauma therapy has increased dramatically in last 3 decades. Current practices uses room temperature platelets, which associates with bacterial contamination and modest hemostatic potency. Therefore, people use cold stored platelets. However, they do function normally with low bacterial contamination and potential increased hemostatic potency, but they induce platelet cold storage lesion. They induce clustering of glycoprotein B on the membrane and lectin-mediated phagocytosis and significantly reduce circulatory lifespan, thereby inducing platelet cold storage lesion. Rho GTPases are able to integrate multiple extracellular signals, including growth factors, chemokines, and integrin-mediated signals. We hypothesize that a cold receptor, putative cold receptor, that appears on the platelet surface induces Rho GTPases when stored in the cold and alter the cytoskeletal rearrangement and induce stress fiber formations and thereby inducing glycoprotein 1B clusterization on the membrane. We hypothesize that Rho GTPase activation is the basis of the refrigerated platelet storage lesion. We wanted to first test cold storage induces Rho activation, and Rho deficient platelets are insensitive to cold storage induced clearance. Therefore, we performed an experiment where we have taken murine platelets and stored under room temperature or in cold. As you can see, as early as 30 minutes, Rho GTPase is activated. And interestingly enough, when we did the platelet survival study in congenic transfusion mice, wild type cold stored wild type cold stored platelets had lesser recovery. However, Rho deficient temperature did not alter the platelets of Rho deficient murine platelets, suggesting that Rho deficient platelets are insensitive to cold storage induced clearance. Upon this result, we asked the questions: does Rho inhibition prevent the cold storage induced platelet lesion? To investigate this, we have taken the advantage of a compound, GO4, which is a novel Rho inhibitor with reversible anti-aggregant activity, and this developed by our group here in Cincinnati Children's. GO4 has 2 aromatic rings, and it binds to the Rho with its tryptophan 58, and at 30 macromolar and 50 macromolar, it inhibits Rho activity. And interestingly enough, it inhibits aggregation, and furthermore, the GO4 activity is reversible. As you can see, after wash, the aggregation comes back. Further to investigate, we asked the question whether cold storage induces Rho activation in human platelets and whether it is preventable by GO4. For that, we have taken FDA-approved acrodose pools of human platelets with continuous agitation, and we stored either in room temperature or in cold with vehicle or with or without GO4. When we performed the Western blot analysis using rotakin beads, we saw the Rho activity is increased indeed in cold consistently, and indeed GO4 prevented Rho activity. To further demonstrate GO4, whether it prevents human platelet clearance associated with 14-day cold-induced storage lesion, we performed again experiments storing the platelets, human platelets, in either vehicle, in room temperature or in cold, with or without GO4. And this time, we used the preclinical model, NSG mouse. NSG mouse are lethally irradiated to induce moderate thrombocytopenia, and clotrinate was injected to deplete the macrophages. Platelets were CFSC labeled before the experiment and infused into an NSG mice. As you can see, cold stored platelets did not survive long enough. However, room temperature stored platelets survived longer. And strikingly, cold stored with GO4 treatment survived similarly as room temperature platelets, indicating GO4 prevents human platelet clearance associated with 14-day cold-induced storage lesion. Further, to investigate whether cold storage induces macrophage-mediated phagocytosis, we took the advantage of previously published THP1 PMA-induced method and analyzed the phagocytosis by flow cytometry. As you can see, day 1, we did not see any difference in any different samples. However, as the storage day increases, the phagocytosis increased. Interestingly, indeed, GO4 prevented the phagocytosis of platelets. This suggested that cold storage induces macrophage-mediated phagocytosis, which is preventable by GO4. And to further demonstrate whether GO4 is on target, we have done a phagocytosis analysis on murine platelets with Rho deficient murine platelets. As you can see, wild-type platelets, cold storage induced, cold stored platelet had higher phagocytosis. However, GO4 prevented the phagocytosis in wild-type mice. In contrast, Rho deficient platelets phagocytosis did not alter the Rho deficient platelets, suggesting that GO4 is on target. Further, to demonstrate whether cold stored platelets in GO4 can maintain hemostatic therapeutic effect in chondritic aspirin treated mice, we have treated the C57 black 6 mice with aspirin, and first 16 hours we have infused the chondritic platelets, and first 24 hours we have done the bleeding time analysis. As you can see, basal bleeding time was normal. However, the bleeding time was longer in no platelet infused, and room temperature stored platelet infused mice had the normal bleeding time. Interestingly, cold stored platelets with vehicle treated had longer bleeding time, and strikingly enough, when we stored the platelet with GO4 in cold and infused back into mice, the bleeding time was recovered. While impactful, these studies in mice cannot mimic the human. Therefore, we have done the two stratified crossover studies in monkeys using the same cold stored GO4 treated platelets. These studies are done in China, and we have seen in 5 monkeys, platelet out of 6 monkeys, platelet recovery is survival is recovered in GO4 treated platelets, and also bleeding time is recovered out of 5 monkeys out of 6. We will repeat this experiment with more number of monkeys. Although it suggests that cold platelets treated with GO4 survive much longer than their untreated counterparts and maintain hemostatic activity in aspirinated rhesus monkeys. At this point of time, we wondered what could be the mechanism. To determine, we thought we will investigate the lipid raft formation in long-term cold stored human platelets. Therefore, we have taken again FDA-approved acrodose human platelets, and we have stored either in room temperature or in cold with or without GO4 with continuous agitation. We collect the platelets on day 7 and isolated lipid rafts by Triton X400 gradient method. When we done the Western blot analysis, as you can see, both flotillin, planar and caveolar lipid rafts expression is induced in cold stored vehicle treated platelets. However, GO4 prevented these expressions, both planar and caveolar lipid rafts. And similar results were observed in glycoprotein 1b clusterization. As you can see, cold stored platelets induce glycoprotein 1b clusterization, and GO4 prevented this. And we used another endocytotic marker, which is VPS33B, and we saw the similar result. We have seen the similar result with phospho-MLC. However, total MLC was not altered, suggesting that cold storage of platelets induces lipid rafts, endocytosis, and activation of MLC, which can be prevented by Rho inhibition. Further, we have done using the similar samples at day 10, we have done the confocal macroscopy where we have seen glycoprotein 1b expression on the membrane in room temperature stored vehicle treated platelets, and cold stored vehicle treated platelets induce glycoprotein 1b clusterization. However, interestingly, GO4 can prevent this. The endocytotic marker VPS33B and glycoprotein 1b expression is co-localized in cold stored vehicle treated platelets, and GO4 can prevent this. GO4 treatment can prevent this. In here, quantification of this, the expression is shown here. So, in summary, we have shown that refrigeration induces Rho activation, which induces glycoprotein 1b clusterization and induces phagocytosis, platelet phagocytosis, thereby inhibiting platelet survival. However, we can prevent this by Rho inhibitor GO4. We can prevent the glycoprotein 1b clusterization and platelet phagocytosis and improve platelet survival and function. So why should I care? Our current platelet storage methods are unsatisfactory, and extended storage of platelets in current solutions may result in suboptimal products, and GO4 platelets may circumvent the time-dependent loss of function of cold platelets and current restrictions for cold platelet indications. And this may bring one platelet inventory for therapeutic and prophylactic platelet transfusions. With that, I would like to thank all the funding sources and my great mentors, Dr. Zheng and Dr. Gonzalez, and all the lab people and flow cytometry core and animal core at CCHMC. And thank you all for your attention. With that, I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much. Another fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
All right. So if you just want to stop screen sharing, we already have some questions that look really good.
Okay.
Do you see on the bottom where they are?
I don't see actually.
So there's like a panel at the bottom.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
How much GO4 is required for the physiological effect, and are there any concerns in interference in other platelet pathways? Actually, our study uses GO4R at 75 macromolar and GO4 as another isomer at 10 macromolar. So we have tested so far these two isomers. We are in the process of testing different isomers, and we did not see any physiological effect this causes. And second question is from Raghavendra Palankar. What is the effect of residual GO4 on mice or your animal models? This is a good question. We are currently investigating that. And the third question is from Rubin rings. Platelet storage lesion has also been shown to correlate with unprovoked degranulation of platelet secretory organelles. Do you know whether inhibiting Rho delays or prevent degranulation during storage? Yes, I have done some confocal microscopy where I have analyzed the degranulation. It definitely inhibits the degranulation and microparticle formation.
Ooh, very interesting.
Thank you.
Very interesting. That was another great talk.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess we've
Thank you
come to
for
the
the
end of our 2 hours. Thank you
question.
for participating. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to Jens. Thank you to Fabienne and Lauren as well. I will post these individually now to YouTube after they're done processing, so it might take a bit. But yeah, we've almost made it. Tomorrow's Friday, so I'll see you all then, and we can celebrate the end to another week. So I guess with that, enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.